Hello, this is Dr. Michelle Payne, and you're looking at my Advanced Sports Psychology course on Udemy. Requirements of the Advanced Sports Psychology course. For the assessment in the Advanced course, you must demonstrate competence by completing practical elements on athletes as subjects. This means not just on yourself, but on other people. Also, you must log in using the same email address on Udemy for the Advanced course as you used for the Introductory course. It's worth noting that the Advanced course will ordinarily not be discounted in any way because the cost of the course has to cover my assessment and my bookkeeping to make sure everything's kept straight. The Introductory course may be discounted at times by Udemy or by me, so watch out for special promotions on our websites at udemy.com or pocketpsychology.com.au for my website, although even if I do say so myself, the material is fantastic value at full price. So stop. Have you got the Introductory Sports Psychology course first? This course won't make any sense without you reading that material first. This one is the assessment based on the Introductory course. So if you haven't got the Introductory course, go back and get that one first. I'll wait for you. See the next slide for the way the Introductory course looks. It's on at udemy.com/introductory-sport-psychology. Here it is. Successfully completing the assessment of the Advanced Sports Psychology course on Udemy by myself, Dr. Michelle Payne, would be equivalent to the successful completion of a unit in the 2012 Sport, Fitness and Recreation Training Package SIS 10 that's delivered in Australia. The assessment requirements are just as stringent in this online course as any on-campus course I teach. SISS CGP 310A, Support Athletes to Adopt the Principles of Sports Psychology, is a nationally recognised qualification in Australia. Qualifications that might include this unit include the Diploma of Sport Coaching, the Certificate 4 of Sport Coaching, Certificate 3 in Sports Trainer, or the Diploma of Sports Development. In Australia, advanced level coaches, such as those working with nationally and internationally ranked athletes and teams, would be completing units out of the Diploma of Sports Coaching, and this Advanced Sports Psychology course on Udemy would be one of those. But even beginning coaches could benefit from taking this course, so don't be put off from attempting it. There's nothing in here that's too tricky. It just requires you to have a big picture attitude about thinking of the welfare of your players and athletes. This Udemy course is arranged in chapters, where each of the chapters in this course represents one of the 5 criteria that makes up the unit SISS CGP 310A. The 5 criteria are: analyse information, liaise with sports psychology support personnel, provide information to athletes, assist athletes to implement psychological approaches, and evaluate the effect of psychological approaches. Okay, this part is really important. You won't get a certificate of completion like you did for the introductory course just for reading through each chapter. That's way too easy. Instead, you must complete and pass every element of assessment before you can be granted a Certificate of Competence at the conclusion of this course. You will email me your written work to an offline email address. Please let me know your name, the name you registered under for this course, because that's sometimes different, and send it from the email address you used to log into Udemy. Make sure you keep a record of your submitted work and my feedback in case you want to claim credit in the future. Note, this is your responsibility to do this. Here's what the certificate will look like. So let's recap a little bit. This course is based on an Australian Unit of Study, SISS CGP 310A, and this unit has 5 criteria, and each criteria has 2 or more elements that will be assessed. Every element has assessment associated with it, and every piece of assessment must be passed in order to obtain a Certificate of Competence. In this course, you'll be asked to locate information yourself using the internet, for example, looking up podcasts and websites, and using information presented in the Introductory Sports Psychology course to generate your own responses, or to carry out an analysis of responses collected on an athlete or coach. The next slide demonstrates the sort of assessment of an element that you might expect. The parts in red don't normally appear. These are just for your information here today. So, for instance, we're looking at the first element, access and analyse relevant and current information from a range of sources on the application of principles of sports psychology for peak sporting performance. So this element just describes what skill or technique is being assessed. Then there are numbers, 3 numbers, 1.1.1, and this refers to the chapter 1, criteria 1, and element 1, and assessment part 1. So the assessment here is, thinking of the issue of anxiety in sport, locate a written article or blog about this topic by a sports psychologist and write down the recommendations suggested by the author. So this is a typical sort of assessment you might see. Now this part's important if you're trying to use this qualification to claim recognition of prior learning, or RPL. So if you want to use this Udemy course to claim credit from a university or a registered training organisation, that's an RTO, there are 4 things you need to show them. Firstly, the outline of this course that includes the criteria and the elements for this unit, SISS CGP 310A. And you might also show them the introductory course topics to see what was covered. Secondly, the quality of your submitted work and my feedback to you. So this is where you need to keep a record of all your work that you submit to me and my comments to you, so they can assess what sort of a coach or what sort of a quality student you were when you did this work. Thirdly, you'd want to show my qualifications and experience so they can see that I'm qualified to teach this course and assess this course. So you'd look at my website, which lists these, at pocketpsychology.com.au, but the important thing to know is that I have a Certificate 4 in Training and Assessment, and in Australia you need that Certificate 4 to show that you're competent as a teacher to be able to deliver this sort of material and assess the work. Lastly, they'll want to look at your Certificate of Competency, which you will have when you've completed this work. This proves that you've passed all the assessment requirements. Now, do you have any questions for me? I plan to answer your questions, should you have any, via the questions section on Udemy for this advanced sports psychology course. If there are common questions, perhaps I haven't made the assessment clear enough, I shall make an announcement that will go out to all the students at once, perhaps to give them a bit more of a heads up. I'm afraid I only speak and read English, so I'm unable to offer the assessment of students who prefer to use other languages at this time. And as always, when you've finished any of my courses, please let me know if you've enjoyed it. My name is Dr. Michelle Payne. You can email me at michellepayne@me.com or through pocketpsychology.com.au. And if these details change over time, do an internet search for me. I'm sure you'll find me out there. Thanks very much for your interest in this course. Bye.